welcome you two to the owner training series. This month we'll talk about the 1099 tax form, everything that you need to know. We do have our financial controller here, Wendy Pritchett, as our guest. She'll be talking to you about all the specifics of the 1099 and answer any questions you might have in regards to that tax form or any other questions in regards to your taxes. So I'll move here. And Wendy, I have a few questions for you that we can interact through. We can answer these questions. And then after that, we'll go with the guest if they have any questions in regards to this. So if you can talk to us a little bit about what exactly is the 1099 tax form.
So the 1099 tax form is mostly meant to convey back to the IRS your rents in this instance. So usually it's for contractors or consultants or lawyers, anybody like that. They have different 1099 forms, and it's mostly to convey back to the IRS. And then we also have information that you glean from there. That way you know what the IRS receives, but mostly you have your owner statements that would be your best reference guide.
Okay. You mentioned that there are different types of 1099 tax forms. What are the differences? What are the ones that exist?
So on the NEC, 1099 NEC, that's for non-employment compensation. So again, that would be like if you had a plumber or an electrician and you needed to send them a 1099, they would usually get a 1099 NEC. But in this instance, the miscellaneous would include the rents. So therefore, that's what we're going to be sending to you, our owners, of the 1099 miscellaneous.
Okay. I didn't know that there were different 1099s until we were doing the research for training of owners. And it's very intricate, the amount of information that there is for filing your taxes.
I think they combined them. I think it was last year they were combined, and then this year they separated them again. So it's changed a few times back and forth.
Right. So the one that you're mentioning, the tax form that we are providing all owners as property management company would be the miscellaneous 1099, correct?
Correct.
Okay. How do we get the total that owners see and the rents of the 1099 year end?
So on the 1099, the rents will show up as like your gross rent. And that's what the IRS wants to know. What was your gross rent? Because theoretically, this is the money that you earned. And now there were fees paid out that some are paid directly to Cozi and some they're paid out directly from you to a third party and that you have incurred on your own. And therefore, the other items will also be included on your taxes as like netting against this rent. So on the 1099 that we send you, we put the rents. But if you look at your owner statement at year end, that'll have these expense items that are not included on your 1099, but that you would include on your taxes. So like your cleaning fees or anything like that you're paying out to Cozi, that will show up on your year-end owner statements. That way you can include that on your taxes.
So just to give a prime example of all the annual statements that give all the work orders, for example, that are being charged to the owner will be inclusive this number, the total gross, since the expenses are then written down elsewhere on another form.
That's correct. And then you would access both of those and track. So if you go into your owner portal, you can see both your year-end owner statement and you can see your 1099.
Right. Yeah, I believe before we have had this question, so since we are recorded, we want to mention that yes, the rent that is present in the 1099 is the gross rent. It is not the net income that you are receiving from Cozi, but it's the gross rent in total. And then you will have to go to your annual statement and see all your expenses to be able to get to the net income.
So yeah, like your year end says payments to owner. So your payments to owner is not what's on your 1099. It's the total rents on your 1099. And then all of those other expense items that are backed out ends up being your payment to owner. So you're not going to pay taxes off of the rents necessarily, because on your own taxes, you should, I mean, like I said, I'm not here to be your personal tax accountant, but you should be on your own taxes saying, here are the rents, and that matches your 1099. And then here's your schedule of expenses where you can then itemize and say cleaning fees travel agent fees, commissions, and then if you have your own expenses where you say, I had to hire a contractor, I had to do this, and again, that's where I would, consult with the tax accountant to say, can I include this? Because some of them might not be a direct expense; they may be categorized elsewhere on your tax form.
Yeah. Yeah. So the 1099 definitely would be the main gross income, and then you will have to, with your own CPA, your own tax advisor, fill out the expenses to be able to after the gross income, correct?
Yes, because it shows on their income rents received, and then it says expenses, and then it lists out like every expense. So if you have, like I said, again, I'm not your tax accountant, but if your tax accountant says, great, let's call your legal fees, your insurance, any repairs or supplies, any of these other categories that aren't even on your Cozi year-end statement, because that's not netted out. But as long as your tax accountant says, yes, all of these should be included on your Schedule E or wherever you might have it on your tax form, then you would be able to back those out and not pay taxes for that expenses incurred.
Got it. How can you access your 1099 tax form? So this will be, I'll take this one over since you can access your owner portal. As you know, everybody here as the owner has their own credentials to log into their own portal where they can see all information of what's going on with their property. You have different tabs where you can navigate through, and for the tax form, you would have to access by selecting the Statements tab in the portal, and then you go to the tax forms here. You'll be able to see all previous 1099s that were already published, and then the new 1099 that will be published by the end of January at the latest. When are they published by Cozi? As mentioned, we are wanting them to be done, right, Wendy, by the end of this month. You do have some deadlines to be able to report your taxes. So from our side, we are trying to get them done by the 31st.
So we're required to have them done out to you by the 31st, but I think we should be done today or tomorrow. So if you can't already see it, then you'll see it today or tomorrow as we go down each individual one.
Perfect. Hopefully. So if after all this next week you are not seeing your 1099, you can definitely reach out to us to ask. It maybe is a publishing issue, you're not able to see it, a system error that you're not able to see it, so we can look into it. What are the next steps to after receiving the 1099? You are both receiving the 1099 form and your annual statement that you can access through Track, and that's where you can go, as Wendy was mentioning, all the expenses that you had. You have to gather all your statements so you can see all those expenses, and then you need to file your taxes with your tax advisor or CPA by the April 15th. You mentioned, right, Wendy? It would be the date that they use, and include all the related expenses on your tax schedule. Most individual and corporations do have April 15th, and we are at the disclaimer here that please consult with a professional tax accountant if you have concerns about completing your taxes for the first time.
But there won't be an actual paper copy sent, right? It'll just be online.
I think it is, but I think that also it's sending it, but I don't know if it emails it or mails it, because we send it, like we tell Track, go ahead and publish. And that was actually a question. I'm sorry, I had a meeting right before here that I meant to find out whether or not they email it or mail it. I think they email it to you first and instead of mailing it to you, but I'll have to check with it.
And once they're published into the portal as well, you do get an email letting you know that something has been published and you can access it as you receive every month for the statement. Yeah. So know your filing deadlines, as we were mentioning, this is just informative to you. Most individuals and corporations file by the April 15th of each year. So double check the deadlines for your specific entity to stay compliant. And after this, we like to mention always that if you have any questions or error reporting that might be happening on the 1099, please reach out to us. Do not hesitate to email us to partnersupport@cozivr.com or you can call and text 830-396-6484. We are here Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So any questions, any doubts that you might have about the 1099, please reach out. We are here to answer it for you. As you know, we have direct communication with our financial controller, so we would be inquiring for any questions that you might have and get those answers for you. And if you notice any as well, if you notice any error on the 1099 as well, something that we wanted to disclaim here as mentioning, it is the gross rent. We have had reach outs before from owners mentioning that that is not the net income that they made, and that's why we wanted to do as well. I mentioned it here in the training, that is not the net income that they're seeing. But if there's any other error, for example, on your social security number or your name or corporation name, please let us know so that we can fix that error and correct it. After this, I believe as informational is a very direct and informational training. I don't know if you have any questions, any specific questions about the 1099, about any of the fields that you have to see on the 1099 or anything else.
This is Carol, and I guess I just want to clarify again that, can you hear me?
I
Yes,
can,
ma'am.
yes.
Yeah, just clarify again that the 1099 is going to be the gross amount that you're reporting to the government. So we're going to have to go month by month to calculate what like the cleaning cost and then the other dish, and then subtract that from the gross to give to our CPA.
Yes, but if the expense was through Cozi, it'll also show on your year end. Though you have 12 monthly statements, we also create a one final annualized statement as well. So you should be able just to get that already summarized from your year end owner statement. And
so I guess my question is, if
okay.
you know that that's a cost to the owner of the home, why do you include it in the gross amount reported to the IRS?
That's the way the IRS wants it. I know that some
Okay.
people, when I had a meeting the other day, they said some people do say net, but theoretically on your schedule on your taxes, it really actually does say income, which is your rents. And then further down, it says your expenses.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
there really are two separate sections on your tax form.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. Like, why would they want, I would say they want all the information that they can have in regards to expenses that you have with the property, all the income that you receive from it, and then all the details that you can provide. So yeah, that's why they have a lot of forms to fill out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And I would just say that just like your monthly owner statement is kind of based off the checkout date. So theoretically, when we look at January to December 31st, it's based off of the checkout date. So if the checkout was December 30th versus January 2nd, that's where the income falls, if that helps you. And I would also say that though I would want you to come to us if you ever notice an error, even if you forgot and you didn't look at it until you go to file your tax return, still come back to us if you notice an error or something. But the best practice would be if you let us know within the next month, because first we notify you of your 1099, and then at the end of February, that's when we'll send them off to the IRS. So if you notify us between now and then, we don't have to do a correction. We can just send the corrected amount or corrected TIN number or something, or name, whatever's wrong on there. If we correct it in the next month, then we'll send the correct information over.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Welcome. Any other questions that anybody else? Hi, Edward. How are you doing? Oh, you're cold. I just read your list. You're muted.
Just a quick question. It's kind of off the topic, but has it slowed down a bit just because of New Year? Or is that just on my end?
The amount of reservations?
Yeah.
So January is typically a slow month in what would be the Texas Hill Country. So it is happening across the board. Now, with our revenue management team, we are looking into doing all the strategy changes for these months that are on the slow side. But yes, it is typically one of the slowest months. Then after Valentine's, I would say, and then March, you'll be seeing the amount of reservations pick up.
Cool.
So to answer your question from earlier, running around, staying out of the cold, I had some complaints with my guests about, water being shut off because it's cold, because for some reason they didn't drip them. So I ran around buying space heaters and doing what we got to do. So
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Did it really get to be 7 degrees today?
No, it's showing right now 28.
Oh, okay.
But
I think your
19
chat
overnight,
said 7.
28, it never heated up.
Oh, okay.
So my guests, I have cabins that are elevated off the ground, and
Yeah.
because they didn't open the farthest faucet to let water trickle, so we got it handled. Just all par for the course.
Part of the
Mine-
hospitality industry and having people
Yes,
coming
ma'am.
in.
Well,
Mine
they
did-
don't live
mine
out
did
here. They
freeze,
wouldn't. I don't
We
know.
were like at 18 over here in Center Point, so mine did freeze, even though I left it dripping, but they still froze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got hot water and I got cold water, but one of the bathrooms doesn't have any water, so it's still the same system. It's just that leg off the bottom is. Oh, it is what it is. Just keep smiling.
Yeah.
I can't
And you'll
imagine
keep
that.
receiving reservations. So
But they got new space heaters.
yeah.
The ones that look like a fireplace.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really pretty. They're at, matter of
Great.
fact, if anybody's interested, they're at Walmart for $62 a piece.
Mm.
They're 3-dimensional, looks like a standing fireplace, metal with a little door, fake fire, fake but it's got
Oh,
a
that's
space
very
heater
cute.
under the bottom with a fan. So
I'll definitely take
they're
note.
pretty. They're actually quite pretty, if I say so myself. Okay, that's all I got.
Taking notes if
Well,
some.
thank you. I like it. That's a good thing to note.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Edward. I don't know if anybody else has any questions. I believe that this will be it for the 1099. I know it's a short subject, but with this training, our main goal is just to give out information of general questions that you might have about a certain subject. So as you might know, if you have any more questions after this training, please email us at partnersupport@cozivr.com, or you can text and call. Yes, Ed.
When would I anticipate getting it on my portal?
Yeah, so on your portal, we were mentioning that we will have them published. The goal end date is January 31st, but Wendy was mentioning that they are almost done with all the 1099s.
Okay.
So on the next few days should be published, and you'll receive a notification letting you know that it's in your portal.
Okay, so would I expect anyone to contact me in regards to that from your side?
No, sir.
Say,
In this,
okay,
Mhm.
we've completed it. We noticed something, or
yes.
or
So
is that
if
just from my side?
Yeah, if there is any type of error, it is completed by our accounting team, and if any type of error you might see it regarding your TIN, your SSN, or your company name, you please contact us so that we can get it corrected on our side. Wendy was mentioning as well that right now we publish it to you as the owners, but they get sent to the IRS by the end of February. So that 1 month timeline would be the perfect time to check your 1099. If you see any errors, so please reach out back out.
I send mine to my CPA. He goes over it. He gets back with me. So if I see anything, that still gives me that 30 days to get back with you.
You can still let us know regardless. I mean, if it's a small thing and we just send it to you, we can still just fix it. If it's big enough, we want to correct it, we'll just send a corrected one to the IRS too.
Wendy, what city are you in?
I'm actually in Dallas.
You're in Dallas. Okay.
Okay. I come down to the office a couple of times a month, but I'm actually in Dallas.
Well, if you happen to think about me when you get down here, I would like to meet you.
All right.
I like to know everybody in the company. Pretty much everybody knows me, so we wash each other's hands often.
And just
That'd be great.
Reminder to everyone, we have our owner appreciation party this February 22nd. You are all invited. Not all of you has RSVP'd for the party. So if you haven't and you think you will be able to come, please do so, because we're doing a list of the people that have said yes to coming to the party. So if you can please do so, you are all invited. You just like the RSVP is more for us to know if you're bringing any friends, family, the amount of people that you're bringing. So please reach back out. If you don't have the link to where RSVP, you can just email us as well. We just want to know that you are able to attend and to take you into account.